bench that I built and a couple of the things I made for it to make my job a little easier. I bought this portable table saw and I built it into a table, and that this here is flush, so I can still use table saw to its full ability. Raise, lower the blades, all that. You can take it apart, remove the case and all that, but really the main part is just getting it flush so that your miniature table here becomes a big table. It's only, I think, 24 inches wide, so I can roll it in and out of the door, but I'm working on a back feed table that folds up on hinges, so it makes it's an extra 12 inches, so that it'll make it a 3 foot by 6 foot table. And now you can cut big stuff on your table saw without you can't really cut a piece of plywood on one of these portable table saws by yourself without having a sawhorse at the same level behind you or something, because it just tries to bow up on the other end and fall down. I've cut one piece of plywood on it by myself, and I had to turn it off, reach around the table saw, get behind it, turn it on, work the table saw from behind it. It's just a big pain. You don't want to. This right here is a big help. So how I've done this was made some legs. It's on some caster wheels, and basically what I've done is I've made this to where I've just screwed some 2x4 to the leg at the right height here. So I think this was like 1 1/8 inches. So what I did was just screw that plywood or that 2x4 in lower, and it's just sitting on these 2x4s under here, the edge of the table. It's basically free floating. All I have to do is pick it straight up and it comes right out, or you can slide it right out just like that, it slides in and out, but it's still pretty sturdy, stays in there. You also have to cut some grooves, or cut a little notch back here. I don't know if you can see that, for the guard, and also cut some notches for my, having a little camera problem. Cut some notches right here for my sled. I made a cross-set sled for this too, because I don't have a chop saw, and I don't even have a skill saw. But this table saw with the sled, I pretty much use it for anything, small, big, and it works great. So I'm going to show you my CrossFit sled. Alright, so this is the back of it. I just glued a little piece of wood here, a little scrap piece of wood, so that, because that's where the blade comes through. If it ever does come through, your fingers won't be right here. And it's kind of like a little guard. Flip it around. So this is real simple CrossFit sled. Just use a small piece of plywood and a 2x4. And then on the bottom I use strips of plywood for my runners. So this here goes in the groove of the table. You had to do a whole lot of sanding and getting this just right. Actually ripped these to the right size with the table saw, which is pretty tough. But get them on there same length, and you have to get them. You have to make sure they're square. Otherwise, when you slide it, they'll tighten up more and more and more. And it pretty much has to be perfectly square. And you want your backboard to be perfectly perpendicular to the table saw. Otherwise, every cut you make. So it's pretty simple how it works. It just slides right in. Right now the blade's up, but I already got my line cut. It only needs to go that far. That's the middle of that's the height of my blade right there. I haven't quite cut all the way through this yet. Haven't had to, but it's real simple. It'll make your job a lot easier, especially if you're cross-cutting a lot of pieces. You can put a little stop block on here, anything like that, and just clamp right here, a little scrap piece of wood at the right length. If you're cutting a lot of the same length, if you're cutting a lot of 4, 6, 8-inch pieces. Clamp it down a little stop block, slide in there, hit the stop block, zzz, cut that. Just like that. It's super simple. And basically, yeah, I've put little nails and stuff, like my little fence. Most people don't like these fences. I don't really either, but it seems pretty good. It doesn't move around a whole lot when I do want to use it. Ripping thinner pieces. Just put little nails, whatever hang stuff. I drilled a hole in the top. I took the little thing that holds the angle cutter on the table saw. I took it off and put it on here so it'll be easier to get to. So it just slides right on out. You can put it right back. That's just screwed in there. It's kind of ghetto rig, but it works. Got all my little wrenches for my changing the blade. I plan on mounting this, whatever it's called. Plan on mounting that somewhere. Each one of these have switches so that I can, basically a mobile workbench where it has power, extension cord. You plug your extension cord in. You can have your sander, your joiner, your planer, all that good stuff right on the table saw and just roll it. You can roll it outside. You can roll it on the trailer. Basically, just anywhere you take it, you can put your stuff on it and go. And that's kind of what I wanted. And worked out. It's real sturdy. It rolls real easy. I probably should have put 4 turning wheels on it, but I only have 2 at one end, so it'll only make a turn like a car. It doesn't have the ability to completely, move sideways, but works pretty good. I like it. It's a little small, but I'm building that outfeed table, and I might put an extra shelf in there right between these 2 legs, about halfway, but I haven't really even used up the space yet. This is the little workbench that I made when I first got here, just so I'd have somewhere to set stuff. I didn't have anywhere to set anything. I literally just took a pallet and took all the bottom boards off and filled the top in with more boards, and you can kind of see up underneath it. It's just half a pallet, really. And I just bought 2 2x4s. It cost me like $10 to make this little workbench. It's not necessarily a great workbench, but it allows you to set stuff. It's probably 2.5 foot wide, about 3 foot, and I can set all kinds of stuff on there. That's really the only purpose it has. And yeah, it's all about cheap. Everybody likes cheap. So I'm gonna start cutting these boards and start putting this thing together, hopefully.